please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. Thank you. Hello there guys, Francis Gray here and welcome back to a brand new video build. And in today's video we're going to be taking this bust of the character Scarecrow from the Batman universe and we're going to customize it into a one-off collectible. I'll see you after this. Okay, so what exactly is this? So it is of the character Scarecrow, and this is the version from the classic animated cartoon, and this is part of the Batman Universe Collector's Busts, and it was made by Eagle Moss Collections, and obviously just features the top half of the Scarecrow character. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed. Okay, that was a lot quicker. So as you can see here, this is the character Scarecrow from the Batman universe. Okay, so what is the plan with this build? Well, this is my favourite, this is my son's favourite villain from the Batman universe. He is a Batman fan, but he's always loved Scarecrow the most. So if you're a fan of the channel, you know my favourite's obviously the Joker, but my son likes the Scarecrow. So when I saw this in the shop, I thought this would make a really cool one-off custom. So the idea is I'm going to remove him from this base and we're going to go ahead and make him some like a waist or some kind of legs, and then we're going to go ahead and add some kind of like cloud effect around him, and then maybe a few little Easter eggs like glowing jack-o'-lanterns or something like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and try and get this guy off the base. So this guy is on there nice and solid, so the only way we're going to be able to carefully remove him is I'm going to have to go in with a hacksaw, take my time and cut basically all the way through. Now it's really tricky because I can't go too rough because obviously we don't want to damage or break his arms, his fingers, or any of that big massive huge hat of his. So I'm going to have to really take my time on this.
6 hours later.
Okay, I think that worked rather well. So this can be put to one side and maybe used for a future project.
I must break you.
So now that we've got a top half, we need to crack on with creating a bottom half, or in this case the legs. So I went through my available STL files, those are like basically 3D files that I can manipulate and, you know, print off. So I used this statue of the Joker from the awesome game Arkham Asylum, and once imported that into another software called Matter Control, I basically used my knowledge to basically blend it all down and to recreate a more realistic kind of legs for the Scarecrow. And then I just sized it up to the relevant size. And yeah, now that we've got our STL file ready, let's go ahead and print it off.
Five hours later.
Okay, so here we are, fresh from the printer, and as you can see there, it's printed off in two halves. So the next stage is we're going to have to go ahead and clean this brim off and then super glue the two parts together. But as you can see there, that in theory that should work rather well. So yeah, for the next stage I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean this up. Okay, let's go ahead and leave this to fully dry.
3 hours later.
Okay, so after leaving this a good few hours to fully dry, as you can see there, we do have a bit of a seam line, and that's all due to me adding a brim when I 3D printed this. So unfortunately I couldn't get the rest of that brim off, but it should be fine. I'll just give this line and this line something for the clay to hold on to, because we will be going over it with some milliput in a moment. But for now, as you can see, we've got all these like little wispy stringy bits that you always get with filament printing. So I'm just going to go in with a file and I'm going to go ahead and clean this up.
6 months later.
So now that that's got rid of the whispers, if you like, or the stringy bits, for the next stage I'm going to go in with some milliput, and I'm just going to go over and give a thin coat to try and make this look a bit more seamless. So it's wrapped in a towel, so the towel goes ahead and leaves like a much needed texture pattern to the modelling clay. And yeah, the only thing that's left to add now to the detail is a couple of like rip marks to make it look like you sewed it together to get across the Scarecrow look. Okay, so now we need to concentrate on the bottom of the model or the statue. So if you're a viewer of this channel, then you might recognize this. So this is basically the bottom half of a Tim Curry / Pennywise statue that I customized a couple of years back. So I've put this to one side, hopefully to reuse it again. And this will work perfect for the character of Scarecrow. So as you can see here, we have a lot of gas that's flying around the place, and if you know the character, you know that he uses fear toxin gases to promote your inner nightmares. And then obviously these like spider leg things coming out are perfect for like, it's a vision coming out from the gas. So I think this will work fantastic with this character. So yeah, so basically the idea is I went ahead and I've already found a wooden base that I think fits this perfectly. So as you can see there, if I can line it up alright, so that's basically where it will work really well for a base. So we're going to have the base like that, then we're going to have the obviously the legs, and then we're going to have Scarecrow. Let's see if I can get a better angle. So we're going to have the Scarecrow coming out of that like that. So we're going to have this mist, and then these like nightmare-ish spider legs coming out, and then obviously we've got the Scarecrow on top. So once all the parts are added together, I think this is going to work really well. So yeah, so I just wanted to introduce this part for now. So we've already got some natural holes dug inside. So I was thinking about adding some glue, gluing this to the base, and then once the glue had hardened, then go in and maybe secure it with some screws on the inside. But before I go ahead and do any of that, I need to go ahead and add some zigzag score marks to the bottom of this base so the glue's got something to stick to. Okay, nicely scarred, so let's go ahead and start gluing. Okay, I'll go ahead and leave that to fully dry.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, 2 long screws with washers, and now we're going to go ahead and screw this into place. Okay, that should do nicely. Okay, so for the next part, to make sure that this is nice and secured and it doesn't come away from the base, I'm going to go in with just 2-part epoxy resin. I'm going to try and get it into the nooks and crannies. Okay, let's leave that to fully harden.
That's what she said. Michael.
So for the next part, now that the resin is fully hardened and this base shouldn't be going anywhere, for the next stage we need to go ahead and fill in these missing bits of debris rock with some bulk. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go in with just some regular wood chip repair on a pallet, and I've also got a collection of rocks that I just got from the garden, and then hopefully some of these should be able to be put here and there to help make this look a bit more natural. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that a good 24 hours to fully cure.
24 hours later.
Okay, so now that this is fully dried, for the next stage I'm going to go ahead and paint the rocks and the base in a basic base tone colour of black surface primer.
Perfect.
Okay, so for the next part I'm going to go in with a drier brush of various shades of grey. So I'm going to start with some London Grey from Model Colour. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of Sea Grey from Model Colour. And now I'm going to go in with the tiniest bit of off-white from Game Colour. Okay, so as you can see there, this space and all those rocks look more universally all one, so you can't tell the difference between the natural base and the makeshift new base. So far so good.
I like it a lot.
So for the next part, now that the legs are taking a bit more shape, we need to go ahead and add A to B. Where you can see there, the Scarecrow's waist is a little bit on the thin side. So it's not too bad, but don't worry about that, we're going to fix that in a later stage. So for now, we need to go ahead and secure this to this. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and drill a channel hole and add a little bit of metal for pinning. And for an extra secure fit, I decided to go in with a 2-part epoxy resin, get into all the little nooks and crannies, and then once solidified, that's going to make this midsection rock solid.
Alright.
Okay, so for the next part, I need to go ahead and start adding some bulk around his waist to, well, bulk him out. And in order to do that, I'm just going to go in with regular standard milliput. Okay, so for the next part now, Scarecrow always has like a piece of rope that goes around his waist, or he always seems to anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie this around and then leave a bit of an impression in place. Okay, we'll leave the milliput to dry and then we can go ahead and add that later on.
6.5 hours later.
Okay guys, so for the next part I'm going to go in with some Das air dryer modelling clay, and I'm going to go ahead and smudge a bit of it on the inside of here, and then we can go ahead and sit the Scarecrow in place and then leave that probably 2 days to fully dry, and then we have a nice connection to just fit him into. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that fully dry. Okay, so for the next part I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to super glue a sash band rope around his waist. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that to fully dry.
15 minutes later.
So now that the glue has hardened and dried in place, for the next stage we need to go ahead and give it all a base coat of surface primer black. Okay, let's leave that to dry. And while the surface primer is already out, I thought I'd go in and paint the inside of that modelling clay.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, so now that's been given a base coat of black and left to dry, for the next stage I'm going to go in with some smoke from model colour. And now I'm going to go in with a orange rust from Model Air. Okay, so this base is going to be needing a Scarecrow logo. So I went ahead and I created this in a software called Matter Control. And now that we've got our STL file, let's go ahead and get printing.
Eventually.
Okay, so here it is, fresh from the printer, and I think this worked out pretty well. So there will be a few little imperfections, but in order to see them a bit better, I'm going to go into the spray booth and I'm going to hit this with at least one coat of a nice grey prime.
Hey, lovely jubbly!
So once that had dried, we then brought it back inside, and then I used various different colours from like dark browns to yellows, orangey kind of colours, just to try and get across a infection kind of, you know, just to suit the character. Okay, so for the next part we need to go ahead and add a bit of felt to the bottom of the base, and I thought this orange colour would work absolutely brilliant. So yeah, so I'm just going to go in with just some PVA glue, and then we'll just squidge it into place, leave it overnight to fully dry, and then we can trim off the excess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for the next stage I'm going to go in with a slight black wash, and I'm going to go over these spider legs. Okay, so for the next part I'm going to go in with some of these, which are in individual lashes or eyelashes. So you usually find these in beauty products. Now these are obviously individually made, so I presume to go like on the corners of the eye or something, I don't know. But I do know that they make epic little tiny little fabric hairs to go on like spider legs, for example, to give that little bit of a creepy factor. So to make sure I've definitely got enough, I went ahead and bought 2 pair.
Many months later.
Okay, so to make this look a little bit more toxic, I'm going to go in with some Express colour from Vallejo titled Wasteland Brown. So you can see the colour difference right there. So the difference from that side to that side that hasn't been done yet is astonishing. So yeah, this has worked out a treat. Okay, so here it is all painted, and I am amazed at the difference that paint has made to this. So yeah, kudos to that paint.
Oh my god! Wow!
And I like that effect that much that I had this weird random like acrylic see-through translucent piece of plastic that God knows where it was to, I can't remember, it was just in my bit box, and I thought, why not go ahead and give that a coat of the exact same paint, and then hopefully that can match, and maybe we can use this in the next stage.
No way. Yes way.
Okay, so these two parts I ended up putting them through a saw, so we got these two nice little bits of extra smoke, if you like. So for the next stage we need to go ahead and we need to super glue the Scarecrow in place. So before it fully dries, I'm just going to go ahead and try and insert these two extra bits. Okay, I think these two little off-cut bits, I think they're going to prove very useful. Okay, so for the next part, now I've gone ahead and I've inserted those two off-cut bits. So the first part just curls around here and the other part just nestles in there like that. So the idea is I just want it to look like it's a cumulative of smoke and toxins at the back, and then the front is where all the nightmare spiders are coming out. So for the next stage, in order to seal this all in place, now I don't want to go ahead and use anything harsh like super glue, because super glue will probably stain and it'll show up and it'll be a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to go in with, I'm going to go in with some UV resin. I'm going to coat all the smoke areas and I'm going to leave it to cook in the sun, and then that'll do two things, well, three things. One, it'll make this look a lot more glossier or a bit more eye-catching. Two, it will help glue these parts in place, and three, these more rougher edges where I've had to cut this off-cut bit in half, it should go ahead and mask over that as well. So, win-win-win. So, the person that I'm making this model for is real life fear is spiders, so arachnophobia. So I thought how cool would it be is, because this was his personal model for his collection, that he was breathing in this Scarecrow toxin and he was seeing his worst fear, which is spiders. So I decided to stick with the spider theme, hence the big spider legs coming out the mist. So we're going to go in with some more spiders, but I'm going to be using some smaller ones from those like novelty bags that you can buy roughly round about like Halloween time. You can get them in the shops more or less all year round, but you tend to see them like on every shelf at Halloween time. Okay, so the idea I'm going for is basically I'm going to add a multitude of different sized spiders, varying from this size smaller, basically crawling up Scarecrow and then obviously coming out of the mist. So obviously we know those spiders aren't really there, it's just what the victim is seeing. Okay, Mr. Spider number 1 is done. And spider number 2. Okay, so now that the nameplate is painted, we need to go ahead and add this to place. Now I do that, I'm just going to go in with everyday, just normal glue stick. So in order to make sure that this is a nice connection, and we need it to be nice and straight, parallel to these two front legs, I'm just going to go in and add a few little score marks down here with a sharp scalpel. Okay, that seems to have done the trick beautifully.
You're goddamn right.
Okay, on to spider number 3. Okay, so spider number 3, and this one's crawling out from the toxin gas.
Why? Why? Why?
Okay, so for the next part, now I've got this here, which was to 1:6 scale kind of like figure. Might have something to do with Action Man, might one of the bad guys, so I'm not really too sure. But I just found this in my bit box, and I thought this part here would work pretty well for the Scarecrow's iconic scythe. So yeah, I've also got this, which is just a off-cut bit of metal pole, which I just super glued some of this rope, which came on a recent parcel. So waste not, want not, and so yes, I'm thinking about cutting this off here, and then gluing this in place, and then hopefully we've got something we can use.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
Okay guys, I hope this is showing up on the camera, but it looks a lot better in real life. That looks a lot more rusted than what it's just showing up on the camera. But yeah, I'm happy with this, so let's go ahead and add it to the statue. And it does seem to fit naturally in this little alcove here, which works rather nicely. So I don't want to go in with super glue, because super glue might be a bit too harsh for this part here, and it might also be a bit too harsh for up here as well. So I'm contemplating PVA glue.
Really?
Okay, so that seemed to glue fine, so now we're going to crack on with some more spiders. And for the very last spider, I decided to cut this one in half and then glue it on the back side of the model where the mist is the thickest, to make it look like it's emerging from the mist, which gives it a bit more of a creep factor. So once that's glued, I think this is finished.
Prepare yourself, Batman. My reign of terror starts now. Didn't you know, Dark Knight? You can't fight fear. You have failed to stop me, Batman. Now Gotham will fall. This is the end, Dark Knight. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore.
Okay guys, so here he is, all finished, and I have to admit, all the parts come together really nice, and I think this makes this a nice one-off custom. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please slap that like button, share on Facebook and X, because it helps people find the YouTube channel, which I'm always appreciative. Thank you for any help. If you have any comments, comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss out on future builds. And if you want to be a legendary viewer, please take 5 minutes, check out my Patreon page, where with your help and support we can do these videos full time rather than part time, which means a lot more content for you guys and a bit more work for me. So nothing else to say, but thank you for watching, and I'm Francis Gray, and this is Scarecrow from DC Comics, or the Batman universe. I'll see you in the next build.